Consider these powerful words from Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Listen to Harper Lee's words from To Kill a Mockingbird. Mockingbirds don't do one thing except make music for us to enjoy. They don't eat up people's gardens, don't nest in corn cribs. They don't do one thing but sing their hearts out for us. That's why it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. Reflect now on these words from Amanda Gorman's inaugural poem. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover, and every known nook of our nation and every corner called our country, our people diverse and beautiful, will emerge, battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms, and we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. Words hold tremendous power. With words, we uplift, we inspire, we educate and create change. Literature, historical documents, and speeches fill us with knowledge and understanding. Quotes, lyrics, and prayers provide us with comfort and direction. Personal letters, text messages, compliments, and constructive feedback transform our lives. One of my family's cherished heirlooms is a collection of love letters my grandparents exchanged when my grandfather fought in World War II. Writing those words onto paper and expressing their feelings deepened their love for one another across continents. Now, long after they have died, these letters continue to touch my family, connecting us to our beloved relatives, introducing them to us in their younger years as they formed a foundation of passion, friendship, and resilience. Combining words is a sacred act of creation. Torah tells us that God created the world through speech. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God spoke, and the world came to be. With our words, we shape the world today. And with our words, we also do great damage. We torment, embarrass, discriminate, and diminish others. Racist comments degrade and perpetuate prejudice. Anti-Semitic rhetoric spurs hatred and ignorance. Vicious words attack and discriminate against the LGBTQ community. Sexist language plagues women in the workplace. Avalanches of gossip damage people's reputations. Hateful social media posts go viral. Supervisors' hypercritical feedback scars employees. Damage is done through phone calls made in blazing anger, harsh emails sent impulsively, jokes, comments, and sarcastic remarks made without a second thought. On Yom Kippur, we acknowledge that knowingly and unknowingly, we all have hurt people with our words. As an artist thinks before dabbing paint onto a canvas, we must think before blurting out words. We must understand the impact of our speech on others. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter taught, not everything one thinks should be said. Not everything one says should be written. Not everything written down should be published. Jewish tradition teaches us to guard our tongue so that we can avoid causing unnecessary pain and embarrassment. Our rabbinic sages taught that one of the greatest sins is embarrassing or humiliating another human being. The Talmud notes that a disciple taught before Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, anyone who publicly mortifies his companion is comparable to a shedder of blood. He replied, "Your statement is correct, for the red color of the face disappears and it becomes white." Not only have many of us hurt others with our words, but we too have been wounded by words spoken to or about us. How were you impacted by a hurtful comment? Were you a child who was made fun of at school? Are you the spouse who is berated by your partner? How has a comment from a family member, coworker, or a stranger touched a nerve and led you to feel sad, angry, or embarrassed? I'd like to share with you a painful experience that I revisit when I receive unwelcome comments on my appearance. I remember being pulled out of 8th grade science class early that day. My mom picked me up at school, and we sat together on a bus to New York City for my first appointment with an endocrinologist. I'd been the shortest student in my class for years, and now my height fell below the charts. My pediatrician was concerned. I'd been dreading this appointment for weeks, just dreading it. Night after night, I prayed to God, "Please, God, make me taller so that everything will be okay. Please just make me taller like everybody else. Why am I different?" I even spoke aloud to my pituitary gland. I begged this pituitary gland, please help me grow. But even that didn't work. That day, as the endocrinologist examined my 12-year-old body, I felt truly uncomfortable. She talked about my growth like a class I was failing. She and my mom spoke about my appearance and how I looked like my friend's baby sister. I felt just so embarrassed, like I did at school when the kids in the hallway laughed at me for being short. The doctor told my mom that within the next few years, I might need growth hormones, blood tests, procedures. And then, maybe then, I would grow like I was supposed to. Crushed and afraid, I begged my parents not to make me. I was so scared. We all carry painful experiences. I'm not the only one. This is simply one of mine. But this is an experience that I am brought back to after leading a bat mitzvah service and hearing from a guest, "I can't believe you're the rabbi. I thought you were the bat mitzvah girl." This is an experience I am brought back to when I hear people say, "Oh, isn't the rabbi so cute? But is she old enough to be a rabbi? She looks like she's in junior high." No matter how often I hear these comments, they still hurt me. These comments are not intended to cause pain. I understand that. Many of these comments are intended to be compliments. I do not receive them that way. I share this with you because I know that I am not alone. Many of us carry painful experiences that replay in our minds when we receive unwelcome comments about our height, weight, hair, makeup, teeth, voice, chest size, or other physical attributes. Comments about our mental health challenges, physical limitations, or financial struggles. Comments about our race, nationality, sexual orientation, gender expression, or religion. Comments about our fears, our hopes, and our dreams. What are the comments that evoke painful emotions in you? What difficult memories are the scabs on your soul that are reopened when you receive these comments? And when? When have you inadvertently made a comment that didn't land the way you intended? A comment that upon reflection makes you cringe. Yom Kippur gives us an opportunity to confess these wrongs, to atone for them, and to be forgiven by those we have wronged and by God. It is a day when we can forgive those who, in their own humanity or ignorance, have spoken words which brought us pain. It is not just a day to reflect on these remarks, but to reflect on the way that words have the power to create or destroy, build up or tear down, inspire or discourage, promote justice or deepen hatred. We have all said things that we regret. That's why we're here. On this sacred day of atonement, may we pause together as a sacred community of imperfect individuals and reflect on these remarks. Please take a moment now. Today, on Yom Kippur, we use the language of confession and forgiveness to begin a new year with a commitment to sacred words that increase holiness in our world. No matter how careful we are in choosing our words, we will inevitably hurt people. We can't possibly know what everyone is carrying. Our goal is not to walk on eggshells during every conversation, so afraid of hurting someone that we feel like we can't say anything at all. Our goal is to be thoughtful with our words and open to receiving feedback on how we impact others. Our goal is to avoid becoming defensive, making excuses, or shutting down the conversation when we feel challenged. In Anna Goldfarb's New York Times article, What to Do When You've Said the Wrong Thing, she shares helpful advice we may use when we hurt someone with our words. She says, first, we must assess the harm done by listening to the other person's feelings and clarifying we understand exactly what we said that was so hurtful. Goldfarb explains how important it is not to catastrophize. No matter how ashamed we feel, one comment doesn't make us a horrible person, and it doesn't mean that the relationship is shattered. Everyone makes mistakes, and we are going to do our best to repair the damage. Goldfarb points out how critical it is not to let the issue fester. Delaying these conversations or not having them at all can be more painful than the comment itself. Finally, she explains that our apology should be heartfelt. We should take responsibility for our words, validate the person's feelings, and explain that we won't make this comment again. Engaging in honest conversations about the impact of our words might feel uncomfortable or even intimidating. And at the same time, engaging in these conversations allows us to grow in our humanity, to become more humble and compassionate individuals. These hard conversations allow us to form stronger relationships built on honesty and respect. There is deep holiness in taking responsibility for our words and striving to use them with care. The centerpiece of our liturgy is the Amidah, this series of prayers that calls on us to stand before the divine in body and spirit as we share our pain, gratitude, fears, and desires. The Amidah is framed by two pieces of liturgy, Adonai Sefatai and Elohai Nitzor, both prayers that speak to the tremendous impact of our words. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Elohai Nitzor Leshoni Meira Usfatai Medaber Mirma. My God, guard my speech from evil and my lips from deception. Before those who slander me, I will hold my tongue. I will practice humility. These daily prayers remind us to speak with kindness, compassion, and intention as we strive to make our lives a blessing. As Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote, "We shall never be able to understand that the Spirit is revealed in the form of words unless we discover the vital truth that speech has power, that words are commitments." When we view words as commitments, we take ownership and responsibility for what we say, understanding the power of our voice. In this new year, as we engage in conversation with one another, may we be thoughtful with our words. May we challenge ourselves to give and receive compassionate feedback, even when it's uncomfortable. May we find the courage to apologize and to forgive when words do damage, because we know that they will. May we use the precious gift of words to shine light, brightening the lives of one another, and ultimately illuminating the world. Gamar Chatima Tova. Good Yontif.